Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul, and yeah, it's Napoleon time again. Yes, Napoleon. Oh, I already started off with a bang. I loved it. Uh, Next one on the list said infantry tactics, and some great help and people in the comments. You know who you are. Uh, they said that infantry tactics is actually in another video, and that we be watching it twice. So we're just gonna skip over that. And like I said, I can always come back to it, right? Right? Like it, if it doesn't happen to be in one of the other videos, if it was a mistake, I don't know. But Napoleon, I'm already loving this series. I've only been one in, and I just know it has to get better and better because usually these videos, like the first episode, you know, I guess the artist, the narrator, the epic history, they're just getting their bearings and figuring out where they want to go, and then they just shoot off, and it gets even awesomer and all that stuff. I don't know if that made sense, but we're still gonna go watch this video and have fun and enjoy it. All right. Before we do, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. For I have to say that. Sorry, guys. It just kind of goes with the channel. You just have to ask, right? All right. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, I got a brain fart. Let's do it. You guys ready? Let's do it.
An epic History TV History March collaboration, supported by our sponsor, The Great Courses Plus. In December 1804, in the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of the French.
Nice.
Europe had never seen such a sudden and dramatic rise to power. A son of impoverished Corsican nobility to military dictator of France.
I'm sorry. That kind of surprised me because the first episode, he was just lifted up to take control of this battle, and like all of a sudden, like he's like he's leading everything, and he's like a king. So yeah, he can control everything now, and I thought maybe we have another battle and then kind of tell, I guess, a little more of the story, but we don't need the story. We're just here for the battles, right? But anyways, let's get to this. So it just kind of surprised me how when you just jumped into that in this episode. Let's get back. Sorry.
Europe had never seen such a sudden and dramatic rise to power. A son of impoverished Corsican nobility to military dictator of France in little more than 10 years.
Dictator, there you go.
Revolution and war had cleared Napoleon's path to the throne. War would dominate his 10-year reign. A conflict unprecedented in history that would leave millions dead and a continent in turmoil.
Here we go. Part 1.
8 months after Napoleon's coronation, the French Empire and its Spanish ally were at war with Britain, and Napoleon had assembled an army of 180,000 men along the Channel coast. But as long as the British Royal Navy ruled the seas, invasion was impossible. But nor could Britain challenge France on land. And so British Prime Minister William Pitt tried to build a European coalition against Napoleon, using diplomacy and gold. Britain would prove Napoleon's most steadfast enemy, and its press delighted in relentless mockery of the French emperor. Britain and France were old rivals in Europe and overseas. But now, Pitt feared Napoleon's conquests had made France too powerful. The French emperor had to be defeated, and Europe's balance of power restored if there was ever to be lasting peace. Pitt found willing allies in Europe, among monarchs who despised Napoleon as a product of the French Revolution and a dangerous threat to the existing order. Austria harboured the deepest grievances, having seen her influence in Germany, and Italy, steadily eroded by French victories. The final straw came in May 1804, when Napoleon had also crowned himself King of Italy in Milan.
Oh, wow.
Austria, Russia, Sweden and Naples joined Britain in an alliance known as the Third Coalition, and devised an ambitious plan.
I'm sorry. I know this has nothing to do with this video, and I'm going to apologize. I just love, like, I just noticed how, like, Switzerland is neutral in everything. It doesn't matter what world war or anything; they're always neutral. They're in the center of everything. I just always thought that was fascinating. But Great Britain, yeah, Great Britain and France, man, they're just the biggest rivals in history. You think, right? I mean, they're always going at each other. I, I'm curious because I'm Canadian, and I'm sorry, I know everyone's mad at me for pausing this, but like if you're from France or Great Britain, do you guys like kind of respect the kind of like battle you guys have in between, or do you guys like actually like not like each other? I'm just kind of curious coming from your guys' point of view. All right, I'm sorry guys, we're getting on with the video.
And devised an ambitious plan for a series of joint offensives against France.
A lot of countries against France.
The main attack would be made by a combined Austro-Russian army, advancing across the Rhine into France. But Napoleon got word of their plans, and reacted with typical speed and decision. He was determined to strike first, before the Allies could join forces, and ordered his army, now renamed La Grande Armée, to march to the River Rhine. His target was the Austrian army of General Mack, which had made a premature advance against Bavaria, a French ally, and was now dangerously isolated from the other Allied armies. Napoleon ordered Marshal Murat, his famously flamboyant cavalry commander, to make feint attacks through the Black Forest, while the rest of his army, advancing at speed, enveloped Mack's army from the north.
Nice.
That summer, Napoleon's Grande Armée was at its most formidable. Well-trained, highly motivated, its regiments at full strength. What's more, it had been newly reorganized according to the corps system, later imitated by virtually every army in the world. Each corps, commanded by a marshal, was a mini-army of 15 to 30,000 soldiers, with its own infantry, cavalry, artillery and supporting arms, such as reconnaissance, engineers and transport. This meant each corps could march and fight for a limited time independently, allowing Napoleon to break with the old doctrine of keeping his army concentrated and advance with his corps widely dispersed.
That's so smart.
This helped to disguise his real objective and increased movement speed, because the army could advance along multiple roads and live off the land, taking its supplies from scattered villages, rather than relying on slow-moving supply wagons. When the enemy's main force was located, the army could quickly concentrate for battle. This is how Napoleon's army was able to move at a speed that often surprised and disorientated his enemies.
Okay.
Mack didn't realize the danger he was in until it was too late. Napoleon's fast-moving corps crossed the Danube behind him and surrounded his army.
Wow, he's gone.
Mack launched a series of poorly coordinated counterattacks, but despite some desperate fighting, the Austrians couldn't break out of the trap. Mack hoped that Kutuzov's Russian army could arrive in time to save him, but the Russians were still 160 miles away.
Yeah, too slow.
And so, at Ulm, on the 19th of October, just 6 weeks into the war, Mack surrendered his army to Napoleon.
Whoa.
The French took nearly 60,000 Austrian prisoners.
60,000?
Napoleon had struck his first devastating blow against the coalition.
You know, I thought, when I was watching Alexander the Great, I thought, I don't know, for some reason I thought that back, because I was like BC, that they had like such bigger armies, but they actually didn't. Like these armies here are just huge. There's just so many people. It's hard to comprehend, all those people in battle. It's just insane. Sorry. But yeah, he got slaughtered, man.
French took nearly 60,000 Austrian prisoners, and Napoleon had struck his first devastating blow against the coalition. Russian General Mikhail Kutuzov was an experienced and wary commander, more cautious than Mack. His army was exhausted after its 900-mile march from Russia, but hearing of the Austrians' surrender at Ulm, and knowing he wasn't strong enough to face Napoleon alone, he immediately ordered a retreat. Napoleon pursued.
It's faster.
The Russians fought several sharp rearguard actions, but could not save the Austrian capital, Vienna, which the French occupied on the 12th of October. Kutuzov slipped away to Olmütz in today's Czech Republic, where he was joined by reinforcements, as well as Emperor Alexander of Russia and Emperor Francis of Austria in person. Napoleon was furious that Kutuzov had escaped. By now his army was also exhausted and far from home, with winter approaching. He needed to force a decisive battle quickly. Fortunately for him, the overconfident 27-year-old Russian emperor sought the glory of battle, overriding the concerns of his veteran commander, General Kutuzov.
Mistake.
With the Allied army closing in, Napoleon ordered his corps to rapidly concentrate on a battlefield he had carefully selected, near the town of Austerlitz. Napoleon oversaw the dispositions of his army late into the night, then grabbed a few hours' sleep beside a campfire. Dawn would mark the first anniversary of his coronation as emperor, and promised a battle that would make or break his young empire.
Here we go.
The morning of the 2nd of December 1805 was cold and bright with a heavy mist. Two armies of near equal size faced each other across a 7-mile-wide battlefield. But the Allies held the high ground of the Pratzen Heights, while French Third Corps under Marshal Davout was still marching to the battlefield. Seeing Napoleon's thinly stretched right flank, the Allies planned a large-scale attack from the Pratzen Heights to steamroller the French right, before swinging round to envelop Napoleon's army. Little did they know, Napoleon was counting on his weak right wing luring the Allies into just such a move, whereupon he would launch his own attack on the Pratzen Heights to cut the Allied army in half. His bold plan relied on his correct prediction of Allied movements, the speedy arrival of Davout's Third Corps on his right, and a perfectly timed counterattack. The battle began around 7 a.m. as Austrian troops of General Kienmayer's advance guard clashed with French troops defending the village of Telnitz. In the face of overwhelming odds, the French fought stubbornly and bravely, but gradually they were forced back. But the Allies, instead of carrying out their great enveloping attack, did nothing. The morning mist and the late arrival of orders had led to confusion and delay, and it was another hour before the first 3 Allied columns were on the move. Soon, fierce fighting erupted around Sokolnitz village and castle. Marshal Davout's corps, which had just force-marched 70 miles in 2 days, now arrived to strengthen the French right wing. Around 9 a.m, his lead infantry brigade appeared suddenly through the mist and retook Telnitz, before being driven back in turn by Austrian hussars. Two more of Davout's brigades reinforced French troops at Sokolnitz. As the mist began to clear, Napoleon saw that, as he'd hoped, the Allied left was moving off the Pratzen Heights, and he ordered Marshal Soult's 4th Corps to begin its attack. To the alarm of Allied commanders, 2 French infantry divisions, until now hidden by the mist, were suddenly seen advancing straight towards the Allied centre. General Kutuzov was forced to hurriedly organize a defense of the heights, using troops of 4 column.
You're gonna get crushed.
2 hours of bloody fighting followed. Musket fire was so rapid and furious that both sides were soon low on ammunition and turned to the bayonet.
Ouch.
By 11 a.m, the French, with the advantage in training and discipline, had secured the heights and driven a deep wedge into the Allied position. To the north, a giant cavalry battle developed. While a Russian force from General Bagration's advance guard captured the village of Bosenitz, before it was halted by cannon fire from the Santon Hill. A decisive charge by 6 regiments of French heavy cavalry finally drove back the Allies, allowing Marshal Lannes' 5 Corps to move forward and seize Blasowitz and Krug. Now, Grand Duke Constantine, commanding the Russian Imperial Guard, led forward this last Allied reserve in a desperate bid to reclaim the Pratzen Heights.
No way.
A battalion of the French 4th Line Regiment was charged down by Russian Guard cavalry, losing its Eagle standard in bloody fighting.
Damn.
Napoleon, who'd moved up to the heights, sent in his own Guard cavalry. In this grim melee between the elite horsemen of both armies, the French finally prevailed. Napoleon had broken the Allied centre. Now, to close the trap on the Allied left wing, still locked in heavy fighting around Sokolnitz.
Got them on the run.
Around 2 p.m, Napoleon ordered 4 divisions to swing south and cut off their retreat. General Buxhowden, commanding the Allied left, only now saw the danger he was in. Attacked from 3 sides, the only escape was south. Many of his troops were forced to flee across frozen ponds.
Allies are all separated now, man.
French artillery opened fire, trying to smash the ice with their cannonballs. About 200 men and dozens of horses drowned in the freezing water.
Oh, dang.
But not the many thousands of Napoleon's propaganda. The French Emperor had won a brilliant victory. His army had taken more than 10,000 prisoners and captured 45 enemy standards. Thousands of dead and wounded of all sides littered the battlefield. Many left untended for days.
Look at this, like French dead, like about 1,200, 1,300. Allied dead, 6,600. Like, that's like a big lopsided, like, wow. Look at the prisoners. Oh my God. Like, man. He smoked them.
The Battle of the Three Emperors, as it became known, was a crushing blow to the Third Coalition. As Russian forces retreated back to Russia, Francis I of Austria was forced to accept a humiliating settlement with France, agreeing to pay a 40 million franc indemnity and give up more territory in exchange for peace. But meanwhile, news had reached Napoleon of a disastrous Franco-Spanish defeat at sea, off Cape Trafalgar. British Admiral Lord Nelson, at the cost of his own life, had masterminded a victory so complete that it ensured British naval dominance, not just for the rest of the war, but for the next 100 years. Britain, master of the sea. Napoleon, unbeatable on land. The whale and the elephant, neither able to challenge the other in its own domain.
Yeah.
When William Pitt received news of Napoleon's victory at Austerlitz, he's supposed to have said, "Roll up that map of Europe. It will not be wanted these 10 years.
Man.
A month later, Pitt was dead. But his warning that Europe faced another 10 years of war and upheaval was to prove prophetic. Napoleon Bonaparte was the ultimate disruptor of European history. One man who transformed a continent. If you want to find out more, why not try a free trial with the Great Courses Plus, a fantastic on-demand video subscription service featuring more than 70 history.
I guess that's it. Because an 18-minute video, that seemed to fly by. I guess there's a lot because, like that whole battle, you know, there's like all these strategic moves. There's a lot going on. You really had to kind of like, well, at least for me, I'm simple-minded, so I had to really concentrate on kind of like the pieces moving and what was going on. It was really interesting, and it's just like, you know, chess. You know, just that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Masterpiece. Yeah, he took them all down. Like, he was against a whole bunch of armies, and they walked right into his trap, man. Right into his trap. I'm loving this series. I mean, it's only the second episode, but I'm really glad that there's so many more videos to come, because, you know, normally this would be like, oh, this right now the series be over, halfway over, you know, from past videos, but I still have a lot more to go, and awesome. Anyways, guys, please hit the like and subscribe, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Yes, and once again, I'm going to say this many times. Props to Epic History TV. Amazing channel, man. Like, you guys are the best. Like, I'm sorry, but I think this is the best channel I've ever like reacted to. I love it. I can't, and I hope you guys make a lot more videos to come, because you know I'm gonna be watching them. So I really appreciate it. Epic History, and yes, thank you guys for watching, and comment below what you guys think of this masterpiece, or, you know, are you guys enjoying this and really looking forward to this? I know some of you have probably already watched this whole thing, but I appreciate you guys watching along with me for my first time. It's a lot more fun, you know, when you like watch kind of this stuff together with someone, and so when I get the feedback, it feels like even more than I'm kind of watching it with you guys. So, anyways, guys, I'm just rambling on. I'm sorry. Please hit like and subscribe. I will catch you guys in future videos, and awesome stuff. Napoleon, man, the man.